For centuries, the lands bridging Europe and Asia had been the meeting point of two worlds: Christendom, the Christian realms of the Balkans and the Mediterranean, and Dar al-Islam, the Muslim powers that dominated the Middle East. And between those worlds, stretched along the Bosphorus, stood a living relic of a vanished age, the Byzantine Empire, the last surviving heir of ancient Rome. But as Europe sank into plague and political fracture in the 14th century, a new force rose in the east. A small nomadic tribe from Anatolia, led by Osman I, expanded steadily, conquering scattered principalities around them. They called themselves the Ottomans. Across generations, the Ottomans grew bolder, more disciplined, and above all, more unified than any rival in the region. While Europe was still trapped in feudal disputes, the Ottomans built a professional army, elite Janissaries, and a centralized state unlike anything their neighbors could match. Then, in 1451, a single moment altered the course of world history. Mehmed II, just 19 years old, ascended the throne. Since childhood, Mehmed had lived in the shadow of the great sultans before him, but burning within him was one relentless ambition: to take Constantinople, the last jewel his ancestors had never been able to claim. This city, with its towering Theodosian walls, had repelled countless armies, but Mehmed believed history was ready to change. From the first days of his reign, he built the massive fortress of Rumeli Hisara on the northern Bosphorus, a steel clamp tightening around the throat of Byzantium. He commissioned colossal cannons, machines unlike anything the world had ever seen, capable of blasting holes in walls that had stood untouched for 1,000 years. Meanwhile, Constantinople had become a shadow of its former self. Its population dwindling, its remaining territory reduced to a handful of districts, its treasury empty, its army too small to defend even a single stretch of wall. Emperor Constantine XI understood that his empire stood on the brink of extinction, but he chose to fight, not for victory, but for honor. In early 1453, Mehmed marched 80,000 men to the city's gates. It was a storm made of flesh and steel. All of Christendom looked on in shock, yet no one had the power to send help. On April 6th, the Ottoman guns roared to life. Their thunder rolled across the strait, shaking the earth beneath the city. The Theodosian walls, unyielding for a millennium, began to crack, stone by stone, as if signaling the end of an age. And yet, the Byzantines held. Genoese knights under Giovanni Giustiniani patched the breaches, repelled the assaults, and fought with a discipline that astonished and infuriated Mehmed. Then, on April 22nd, Mehmed unleashed a move that stunned the world. He ordered his entire fleet dragged over land, hauling ships across wooden rollers, bypassing the great chain that guarded the Golden Horn. It was a maneuver no one believed possible, yet it unfolded right before the defenders' eyes. From that moment, Constantinople was surrounded on all sides. Inside the city, food ran out, morale collapsed, and disease spread. But still, they held on, clinging to the last glimmer of Rome's ancient light. At dawn on May 29th, Mehmed launched his final assault. 3 massive waves. The second shattered what remained of the walls. The third, Janissaries climbing through cracks, falling in heaps only for more to surge forward, became the breaking point. Then came the devastating news. Giustiniani was gravely wounded. Carried from the battlefield, he left a void no one could fill. The Byzantine line collapsed. The last defenders were pushed deep into the heart of the city. Emperor Constantine XI, according to legend, tore the insignia from his armor and charged into the enemy ranks, fighting until the very end. When the sun rose, Constantinople had fallen. The Byzantine Empire, more than 1,000 years old, ended in fire and blood. And Mehmed II, just 21, walked into the ruined city and proclaimed himself Fatih, the Conqueror. The fall of Constantinople did more than extinguish an empire. It gave birth to a new one, a power that would dominate 3 continents for centuries, and more importantly, it marked a permanent shift in the balance between East and West, opening a new chapter in the story of our world. If you enjoy epic history stories, don't forget to like and subscribe. And stay with us, because one question still echoes through time. How did a 19-year-old reshape the fate of empires?